Right, if you just joined us, you are still watching Enterprise Weekend on Enterprise TV. And now to our main conversation for today. The Nigerian Labour Congress (NLC) has declared a two-day nationwide strike for 27 and 28 of February 2024 to protest against the economic hardship being experienced in the country. The NLC President Joe Ajaero disclosed these on Friday during a press conference at the Labour House in Abuja. Mr. Ajaero explained that the decision to go on a protest was taken after the expiration of the 14-day ultimatum earlier issued to the federal government over the nationwide hardship. It will be noted that both the Nigerian Labour Congress (NLC) and the Trade Union Congress (TUC) issued a two-week ultimatum to the federal government to address the food crisis or face a mass protest. In a joint statement, the NLC and the TUC said they are concerned about the non-implementation of the 16-point agreement reached with the federal government on October 2nd, 2023. The agreement focused on the failure of the government not addressing the massive suffering and the general harsh socio-economic consequences of the ill-conceived and ill-executed IMF and the World Bank-induced hike in the price of PMS and the devaluation of the Naira. Still in the studios together with me to do justice to this topic is Barrister Evans Ofele. Thank you so very much, sir, for being hanging with us also. And to talk about this issue, and the first question I'd love to ask is this. When would we have a Nigerian Labour Congress that would be in sympathical to when we had it in the past with Oshomole? Because it seems to me like the current NLC are not doing what they ought to do, especially when it comes to addressing issues of national interest.
Well, they are addressing it now.
But not as well as we expect. We've had them do something like this, and which is not fruitful, or Nigerians will perceive that not to be as fruitful as it used to be before.
I think during the time of Oshomole, there was a lot of tolerance. The federal government had a huge or a bigger democratic engagement with the public and the NLC. We will just return to democracy then. Okay, and everyone is conscious about what democracy should be and how its principles apply. You understand? But from the government of Buhari. Yes, from the government of Buhari, because even Jonathan, there was civil society and NLC. Everybody had a field day. Yeah. Yes, you and I can come out now and call Jonathan out at any point in time. And then the next thing, they will send delegates to go and listen to you. You understand? But from Buhari's government, from the NSAS to now, you see, the hardship, it got to a point where women, elderly women in Niger State, last week, came out to protest. They were all arrested and locked up. You understand? So the level of intolerance that the APC have brought to the Nigerian political dynamics is one that is unquestionable. Okay, it's one that is incredible, rather. It's incredible because this APC have abandoned the ethics and principles of democracy. And now you don't say the NLC is not doing much. When Joe Ajaero went to Imo State to join the people of Imo State to protest against non-payment of salary for a long time, what happened to him? He was beaten. Beaten seriously, but mercilessly. So what did the federal government say about it? Nothing. Okay, so there is no tolerance here. In the time of Oshomole, there was tolerance. I mean, Oshomole shut down the economy on many. When Obasanjo increased the price of fuel, the economy was shut down on many. And the federal government went begging.
Yeah, listen to them.
Yeah, no, went begging. They were panicking. They lose a lot. They began to lose credibility. It was a healthy Labour FG squabble. But this one, even this, you see the 14 days just expired.
Yeah.
The federal government, did they say anything?
They didn't say nothing.
No, the intolerance, now they will go on this strike. The federal government may not even say anything. Or they will send some delegations. who will go there and deceive NLC, just the way they treat ASU. You know, ASU is also calling for...
Yeah, exactly.
Because the federal government will never, play its own part in terms of agreement. They will not.
So how do you think we can bring back the NLC, or what do you think the NLC would do to ensure that the government of the day becomes what it should be?
I don't think this should just be an NLC strike. Maybe NLC should spearhead it. It's going to be a nationwide civil society. Civil society will join, and the whole country. This country needs to be shut down so that we can start afresh.
And you think the current APC it would allow that happen?
No, when it gets to when everybody is involved, they have no choice. They will not be. How many people are they going to kill? This is not the way to live. This is not the way to live. You see what is going on in Nigeria was not even as much as what happened in so many African countries, that they went through full-scale civil war. From Somalia to Central North Africa Republic to the host of it. Where this one is not end SARS or end this or end that. This one, people's lives are threatened. Okay? On social media yesterday, there was a woman who came out to the streets on the main road looking for how to get food for herself and her children and collapsed somewhere on the road, and she was asking for pure water.
Pure water, yeah.
Yes, and collapsed. So you are going to have more of that, because people are not. You are going to have more of that. Then you are going to have more of insecurity. Then ultimately, you are going to have the society will break loose, so that this government should do what it ought to do. You see, the consequences of policies. You don't make policies without thinking. You understand? You don't become president on a day, and that day, on your feet, you just took a decision. You made a policy on your feet. To lead who? To where? You don't do that on the day of your inauguration. You are now changing the rules when you have not even seen the handover note.
Now, looking at the consequences of policies, just like you did mention, the Nigerian Labour Congress are equally involving the IMF and the World Bank in all of this issue. And the question is, how do you think the federal government would have participated in that particular deal, knowing that the IMF and the World Bank are people the federal government always look up to, especially when it comes to the IMF and the World Bank giving them directives on what they perceive would grow any economy, just like they had suggested for Nigeria.
They don't take all the advice of the IMF and the World Bank. They do not all advice. You see, we have a sovereign state. Okay, these are institutions that we are signatory to. The IMF, the World Bank, they are part of the United Nations. Okay, so we are signatory to them. So whatever it is they dish out is subject to our own scrutiny. But right now, even this government does not even listen to them at all.
They don't listen to them
at all. They are not listening to them, because they raised an issue on this subsidy, that the federal government is still paying subsidy. The federal government did not respond.
But if they say the federal government isn't paying subsidy, which means their directive is that the federal government should allow fuel sell at an international price, which they know Nigerians can't afford. So isn't that complicity?
Yeah, what I'm saying is there was no response. At least what you said now is a response, right?
Yes.
And they should have responded. That's what I'm saying. So if they hold them in high esteem, why is it that they don't respond on some of those issues? You understand? So I think we're in a place now where NLC is doing the right thing. They're on track all over the world when you push people to this level. Because you can't tell me that you cannot address the situation. You can't say that, because the funds they spend alone, the kind of money they spend in governance to buy and travel and do useless things is enough, okay? And then they turn around to lie, and they release grain here, release grain there. Nobody's seen anything. And you can't continue like that. You can't lead people like that. It's not possible. Government at every point in time must be able to address the welfare of the people. That's the essence of government. If you're not doing all that, you're not giving them security, you are just there. You are just the government is even the government came against analysts. You know, Bismarck Rwani.
Yeah, Bismarck.
Yeah, gave a projection on where we are, where we are going to go if we don't take the necessary step. President Tinubu went on and started saying that not everybody's an expert, not this and this and that. They're talking about, he didn't call names, but it was against analysts, that people that were making projections and all that. This is a government that's not even ready to learn, let alone address the problem of the state. They are going against individuals now.
Now, it's often said to whom much is given, much more is expected. Now, let's look at, I know it's a difficult issue here, but I think it's very important that we look at it very well here. Lots of people love to avoid these questions, or lots of media stations wouldn't even want to go into it in the first place. Now, let's look at the character and the persona of the president in all of these things. And if it's possible, let us go back to when he was the leader of the APC and his contribution to the Buhari administration that had gotten us to where we are today, and him taking center stage in all of this. What do you think has been the place of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu's stake in all of these issues that we have today?
Well, it's as if it was not even popular from even when he was the leader of the party. In terms of, I'm talking about nationwide, if you gauge it nationwide. You see, what happened is that we don't have a healthy political system, electoral system. That's where the problem is. Our electoral system can compromise anything. Anybody can be president in Nigeria, including convicted criminals.
That's if they are influential.
All you need to do is to just compromise the electoral system. What is going on now is good for Nigerians. You know why it's good for them? At that time, when this man was campaigning, we came out as analysts. We said, see, don't go there. Don't, because you will not be able to defend this whole thing you are trying to do. People went and started collecting money to vote. People sold their votes. People, even some people came out on the day of election, came to the polling unit and were asking people, are you from, we are from where? You are from where? Okay, you are Igbo, go here. You are from, go back to your house. Disenfranchise a lot of people, force people into different kind of, all that. Those people now are the people that cannot eat.
But you
They are ready to, they are saying that this is not what they will bargain. You see what is going on now? Because the Nigerian will not learn a lesson. So this one is good. This hardship is necessary. It's necessary so that perhaps it will give them some sense of what you look at what happened. Look at the whole process. The whole process was, how would you even endorse this 2023 election? A serious country would have cancelled it.
Very true.
There was no election.
There was no election, true.
There was no election. Then the public want the courts to do magic. It should not work like that. The public compromised the election. And this is the harvest of hardship. This is the harvest. When you are doing the wrong thing, you think you will just do the wrong thing and get away with it. It will not work like that. You see this rice that my friend bought 70,000 yesterday? It's going to be over 200,000 naira in the next 3 months. Yes, at that point, it will no longer be rice.
Now, we don't wish for this in the future, but of course, people would often say that history is repetitive. Now, let's take a look at what's happening now to what it was in the First Republic, before the first coup d'etat. And the question is, do you think it was this bad in the First Republic that led to the coup of 1966?
The First Republic?
Yes.
The First Republic wasn't bad, just because the soldiers were ambitious.
But the level did corrupt and all that.
They said the politicians were corrupt. I know there was corruption, but it wasn't like the First Republic was a republic of federalism, a republic of regionalism. You understand? we left off from independence and the regions were very healthy. They were healthy. The politicians at the center had issues of corruption, but it was not brazen and widespread. But the social spread because the military coup had already taken place in Togo.
Oh, okay.
Yes, you know, Togo is the first, where we had the first military coup in Africa. And that military coup influenced a lot of African countries. So they felt like it was and in those days, the soldiers don't really have tolerance too. They see civilians like subhumans. And why should they be the one leading? And why should they even call them the chief of armed forces and all that? Yeah. So they had that issue. During the First Republic, we had even the Constitution had a secession clause. There was plebiscite. How did we get the Midwestern region? Well, it was as a result of the outcry of that area, and then there was a referendum, and we had another region. Okay, the Eastern region there was the most successful in the whole of Africa. A region was competing with many countries in Africa in terms of trade and commerce. Okay, so it was a healthy one. We distorted it in January 15, 1966. Okay, when they struck, and we had a fragmented system. And from that time to date, we've not had it. Okay, it has been on steady decline. But this one that the APC introduced in 2015, this kind of government, the APC, a government where you are not able to discharge your responsibility as a government, and when people come out to voice their grievances, you arrest them and put them in detention. You violate the Constitution first for not providing for the people or giving them the enabling environment to thrive. Then you further violate the Constitution and their rights by when they come out to a protest, you arrest them and put them in detention. You understand? That's not democracy. That's not democracy. There's nothing democratic about it because protest is about the citizen. And the coming protest now, how many people are they going to arrest? Are they going to arrest NSC and put them in detention? Because civil society will join and the whole country will join.
Exactly, because
people are already protesting before now. You understand?
Some pockets of
people are already protesting before now. So why would they not be protest? They should protest because the people can no longer feel they don't know how they are being governed, even though it's good for them. Because during the election, they did not listen. We want this government to change its style, okay, and we want a situation where they will make provision for the people of this country. That is what. If that is done, even the military will be happy with that. Everybody will be happy with that. That is exactly what should be done.
Exactly. Yeah, so that is basically what we're talking about. We do not wish ill for our country, neither do we wish for any takeover of any sort, because democracy, of course, is the base of any thriving economy. If truly we are to have a thriving economy anywhere in the world, particularly for our country, Nigeria. I'd like to say thank you, Barrister Evans Ofeli, for being part of our show today. It was really an engaging discussion with you. And for you watching, we'd love to say thank you so very much for making out time to be part of our show today. Please do well to visit our website at www.enterprisetvnews.com and also like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV7. I am Henry Igubika. See you next week for yet another great time. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.
Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.